By 2009, Mr. GCHS was held in the theater and consisted of more elaborate and creative performances as well as the use of projected videos for skits. According to Mr. Terrico, the teacher of PSP, it was a major turning point in the significance of the show as a whole. What was the purpose and inspiration for Mr. GCHS when it first began?
We were broke. So here's the situation. I was a sponsor of the class of 2003. That's Ms. Bizivac's class, okay? So this was the 1999-2000 school year. What ended up happening was I was asked right outside this area by that concession stand. Dr. Elizabeth McDonald, the superintendent slash principal at the time, came up to me and asked if I wanted to be the freshman class sponsor.
Can you describe the very first show, i.e. the different acts, music, dances, topics, and popularity?
Well, I talked about a lot of Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Nice. In the second one, we had a talent portion. We never did a talent portion after that. It was really, really bad. Ruben Estrada, who works at, does he work at Emo's or Center Cut? I don't know which one. He performed Casey and JoJo's All My Life. He sang that. That was really good. The first one, we had t-shirts. People really dug the t-shirts. The sound quality was awful in the big gym. I probably couldn't understand what people were saying, but it was very, very simple.
How has the purpose and meaning behind the show changed over time?
When it first started off, it was very, very simple, and we had, 5 members of each class. And then what ended up happening is right around the class of 2010. And the way we got into the current setup is with that class, a lot of the seniors decided not to be in it after being in it their previous 3 years. So if they didn't win by junior year, and that was a time when a junior won Mr. GCHS one year and a sophomore the next, and so they were all devastated by this and they thought they were embarrassed that they couldn't win, so they stopped competing senior year. So now we were getting some of the most experienced people in. We had to switch at that point to go with 8 juniors and 8 seniors, and it made the show shorter because you had less people competing, but also got a higher quality of the best people, the juniors and seniors. So that's why we made the switch.
After a several-year ban on the show, Mr. GCHS was brought back as a fundraiser for post-prom in 2005. However, it was now completely run by the PSP class. The PE teacher, Mr. Centella, was the winner of Mr. GCHS in 2005.
Can you describe your act in the show and your favorite or most memorable part of the show?
I think the thing I probably had the most fun with was the dance. We put it together. It was intentionally goofy, but it was something that we worked really hard on, and it was a blast. So I would say definitely the senior dance.
What were the things you liked the most about your experiences in Mr. GCHS?
Definitely just hanging out with my friends. The group of guys that was in it my senior year just happened to be like my best friends. So being able to spend that extra time doing something totally out of our comfort zone was a lot of fun. I wasn't somebody that was involved in like fine arts and getting on stage and any of that, so it was definitely different for me. But anything I think that gets you out of your comfort zone and challenges you like that is ultimately a great thing, even though I was definitely nervous, more nervous than I anticipated going into it, getting on the stage, but it was a lot of fun. So, but that time with the guys, my close group of friends, was awesome.
Mr. GCHS began as a fundraiser for the freshman class. It was held in the big gym and was judged by the Poms and cheer captains. Ms. Bizovac helped plan and create this first show as a part of the community service class PSP. Let's see what she has to say about it.
As a past student, what were your thoughts about the event when you went here?
I think when I went here, like I said at the time, it was like super cool. It was this unique new idea. So I didn't think we were necessarily creating something that, 15 years later we would still be doing. So it's definitely neat to see that. And I know my friends who were in the first, group that, helped create Mr. GCHS still think it's awesome as well. They always ask me, like, are you guys still doing Mr. GCHS? So like I said, I do hope that that's something that continues. And I also think, being Mr. GCHS, winning Mr. GCHS, I'm sure for the winners is something that they'll probably keep with them for the rest of their lives. So I definitely think it's just like a unique way that bonded us together back then and probably still bonds people together even now, and hopefully continues in the future.
In your perspective, how has Mr. GCHS changed over the years?
Well, I definitely think it's gotten a little bit more risque. Some of the things that I see in the pageants, I believe I have attended all the Mr. GCHS pageants that were held, definitely when I was a student and then since being a teacher. And I think, you know, every year they're great, but I do think there's certainly some liberties being taken that definitely would probably not have been allowed when I was in high school. But we actually had it very formal. There was like a formal wear section and like a talent portion. So I definitely think that it has developed into something like way more, you know, creative with different segments of the show and being able to interview, you know, kids not only individually but in pairs, and obviously the dance is way more intense than it was back in the day. So I definitely think the show now is better than it was back then, but definitely some more risque things going on.
In your perspective, how would you say Mr. GCHS has impacted the community and environment of the school?
I definitely think it helps create like a more kind of fun and upbeat school culture. I definitely think it brings different groups of people together. I mean, just being a teacher and hearing people talk about Mr. GCHS, I feel like it's not limited to like one group of students. I think lowerclassmen or underclassmen like Mr. GCHS, upperclassmen as well. So I definitely think it helps just provide like a more, I don't know, like engaging and laid back kind of event to a typical school day, so.